limits and continuity.
Okay, thank you. So I'll be presenting to you the rules for limits so that it is easy for you to compute problems involving limits. So I have here the rules. Constant rule, limit rule, sum and difference rule, product rule, multiply lang to, function lang to now, and then quotient rule. Example 1, please read Angelica Nara rather. Thank you. Angelica Nara, please read example 1. Last call for wala siya. Escalera. Chan Mark Umagan, please read. Chan Mark Umagan. Wala? Walang magbabasa? Escaler Armando.
Sir, okay ba sa'yo?
Please read. Wala? Wala? Please tap the hand icon kung gusto magbasa, please. Thank you. Pag tayo magsasaya ng oras.
Ay, magpinit ng hand icon.
I want volunteer to read problem 1.
Ay, mag-on.
Please tap the hand icon. Thank you.
Wow, mag-on naman.
Wala. So, hindi natin magkaklase. Wala naman participate ano dito.
My God, klase.
Wala nagvo-volunteer. So, end ko na itong klase. Wala namang nagsasagot dito. Para saan ba ito yung klase ko? Lance.
Limited x approaches 4. So,
Ano ulit? Nasa ulit, Lance?
limited x approaches 4. And 3 plus 2 of x equals limited. Yan po ba?
Okay, Lance. Kasayin natin ulit, Lance. Okay. So, ang basa natin. Thank you, Lance, for the participation. So, example 1, find the limit of 3 plus 2x as x approaches 4. Waitin natin, ha? Find the limit of 3 plus 2x as x approaches 4. Okay, Lance, pakipasa ulit.
Find limited 3 plus...
Not limited, Lance. Limit lang, limit. Find the limit.
Find limit of 3 plus...
Find the limit. Find the limit of...
Find the limit of 3 plus 2x over x approaches 4.
As x approaches 4.
As x
Ulit.
approaches 4.
Pakiulit, dire-diretso, basa, start.
Find the limit of 3 plus 2x as x approaches 4.
Okay, so thank you so much, Lance. Very good, Lance. Okay, so we're going to find the limit of a linear function because I'm going to discuss to you in detail. Linear because it is a first degree, no? 3 plus 2x, the highest degree is x raised to 1. So linear siya. So if we're going to limit this, we are finding the limit of the sum of the two functions. So again, if you're going to solve for the limits, kailangan yung notation ng limit ay hindi nawawala hanggat sa hindi mo siya na-evaluate. So the limit of 3 plus 2x as x approaches 4, so this is the sum. Pwede nating iwalay the limit of 3 as x approaches 4 plus the limit of 2x as x approaches 4. We know that the limit of 3, the limit of a constant is equal to the constant itself. So the limit of 3 is equal to 3 plus the limit of, nilabas natin yung 2 times limit of x. No? So here, as x approaches 4, as x approaches 4, hindi pa rin nawawala yung notation na limit. So find the limit. So ito yung 3. So in-evaluate natin yung limit ng 3 as x approaches 4. The limit of c is equal to c. So constant yan. Plus the limit of 2x as x approaches 4. So this is the product of 2 times x. Kaya nilabas natin yung 2 times limit of x. So mayroon pa sing as x approaches 4. So bring down 3 plus the limit of 2 as x approaches 4 is 2. Okay. Then the limit of x as x approaches 4, si x palitan natin ng 4. So 3 plus 2 times 4. Alam natin na unahin muna natin yung multiply bago yung add. So 2 times 4 is 8 plus 3 is 11 following the GEMDAS rule. Any question for item number 1?
Sir, pag naglipat po, nilipat po di po yung 2, hindi
Yes,
po
sir.
magiging negative.
Yes. Ano yun?
Nilipat po di ba yung 2, hindi po magiging negative.
Hindi naman siya nilipat eh. Parang pag sinabi mo na halimbawa ganito.
Wag na lang yun din.
Pag sinabi mong 2x, y, para lang naman pag sinabi mong 2yx eh. Hindi ka naman naglilipat. Nagne-negative lang ka kapag ka naglilipat ka sa isang equation. Hindi naman to siya equation. Expression siya. So, hindi yan nag-change ng sign. Okay? So, nag-change ka lang ng sign kung ito ay equation. Ito ay expression. Parang pag sinabi mo ng, di ba pag sinabi mong 2 limit of x, no? So, parang sinasabi mo dito, 2 times x yun, di ba? Kaya pwede mo siyang isulat as the limit of 2 times x is 2x. Ngayon, yung 2, nilabas mo lang siya. So, 2 limit of x, pareho lang din naman yun. Okay, parang ganito siya. Halimbawa, mayroon kang 8x plus 4. Di ba nilabas mo lang yung 4? Kaya mayroon kang 2x plus 1. Kasi expression yan, hindi naman siya equation. Kaya hindi nagbabago ang sign. Okay? Nasagot ko yung tanong mo, anak?
Opo.
Okay. So, the limit of a constant is equal to the constant. Then the limit of 2x, si 2 linlabas lang natin limit of x. So, nandun pa rin yung notation ng limit, no? As x approaches 4. And then bring down 3. The limit of 2 constant ulit. Parang limit of 3 lang siya is 2. Times, ito ay times limit ng x. So, x palitan natin ng 4. So, 3 plus 2 times 4. So, GEMDAS, unahin yung times bago yung plus, kaya 11. So that question number 1. Sana klaro sa lahat. I will proceed now to question 2. Sumagot naman kayo dyan para motivated naman ako magturo. Pag hindi kayo, wala kayong gana makinig o ayaw nyo mag-participate, ititigilan na natin to. Okay. Pakitap ng hand icon kung present na ako sa item 2. Huwag ka na lang umaten kung ayaw mo naman maki-ano dito. Picture. Sasayang ka ng oras. Okay, thank you. Next. Kita ko na yung nag-participate. Okay, very good. Okay, next. Problem 2. Find the limit of 3x squared as x approaches 5. So, ang given natin ay find the limit of 3x squared as x approaches 5. So, alam natin na product to siya, di ba? 3 times x squared. So, iwalay natin, no? We have two functions here, 3 times x squared. So, the limit of 3x squared as x approaches 5. So, iwalay natin the limit of 3 as x approaches 5 times the limit of x squared as x approaches 5. At alam natin ang limit ng constant ay constant. Then, copy the limit of x squared as x approaches 5. So, dito, hindi natatanggal yung limit at saka itong notation kasi hindi pa tayo nag-i-evaluate. So, 3 times the limit of x, alam natin na ang x squared can be expressed as x times x. So, yung the limit of x squared is limit of x times limit of x as x approaches 5 as x approaches 5. Now, the limit, bring down 3, the limit of x as x approaches 5 is 5 and the limit of x as x approaches 5 is also 5. So, 3 times 5 times 5 is equal to 75. Question sa item 2? May tanong? Yes. We know that 3x squared is the same as 3 times x times x. So, this is getting the limit of a product. So, yan yung rule number 4. So, parang meron tayong tinatawag na the limit of f of x times d of x as x approaches a. So, hinihiwalay lang natin. Sinisplit natin yung mga factors. Tapos, kinukuha natin yung limit. Sana naintindihan. Okay? Now, let's proceed now to the kanina linear. This time, finding a limit of a polynomial function with one term. So, for example, the f of x is equal to kx raised to n. So, the limit of f of x as x approaches a of k times a raised to n is equal to f of a. So, let us have an example. Okay, find the limit of 4x cubed minus 6x plus 1 as x approaches 2. Okay, so dito, hiniwalay lang natin. Ito yung 4x cubed. Ito yung minus 6x. Ito yung plus 1. So, kinopya lang natin do. As x approaches 2, nilalagyan natin yan. Okay? So, wala na siguro kayong problema dyan. Then, the limit of 4x cubed as x approaches 2, nilabas lang natin yung 4, no? X cubed. X is 2, so 2 cubed minus 6 times, as x approaches 2, 6 times 2, plus the limit of 1 is 1. So 2 cubed is 8. So 4 times 2 is, 4 times 8 here is 32. Ito siya ay also 12. So 32 minus 12 is 20. 20 plus 1 is 21. Question sa example 3.
Wala po.
Wala na po.
Wala po.
Okay. Next.
Gets ko na.
Rules for limits continued here. So, polynomial rule, if p of x defines a polynomial function, then the limit of p of x is equal to p of a as x approaches a. So, let us have an example here. 7. Pag rational function, dapat ang denominator natin is not equal to 0. Equal function rule. So, let's have an example. Meron tayong exponent rule, logarithmic rule. So, let us have this example. Find the limit of x squared plus 2x minus 3 all over x squared minus 3x plus 2 as x approaches 1. No? So dito, kung napapansin nyo, ang una natin gagawin dahil ito ay rational, dapat lagi nyo siyang factor. So ang factor nito, ito yon. Ang factor nito, ito yon. Makakancel natin itong x minus 1. Ang natitira, x plus 3 over x minus 2. So, kapag rational function siya, apply natin na ibig sabihin, dapat hindi magiging 0 ang denominator natin. So, as x approaches 1, so palitan na natin si x ng 1. So, ito, nangyari ito kasi nag-cancel na tayo. So, if as x approaches 1, si x plus ng 1, 1 plus 3 over 1 minus 2. So 4 minus over 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So 4 over negative 1 is negative 4. Question sa example 3. So ibig sabihin, kapag may nakita kayo na rational siya, ibig sabihin may numerator and denominator. The first thing that you're going to do before you compute for the limits is to factor it out and cancel common factors that can be found on the numerator and denominator, and then proceed to finding the limits of the simplified rational expression. Any question?
Ano po?
Okay, next example. Example 5. Compute the value of the following limit. So this is a rational expression. The limit of 3x squared plus 5x minus 1 as x approaches negative 2. So this is the sum of difference of three functions, no? So ang gagawin natin, ihiwalay natin. Okay, so ito siya. Limit ng 5x as x approaches negative 2. And the minus limit of 9 as x approaches negative 2. So here, nilabas natin ng 3, the limit of x squared as x approaches negative 2. Nilabas natin yung 5 plus the limit of x as x approaches negative 2 minus the limit of 9 as x approaches negative 2. So, pwede mo na dito ma-simplify eh. Diba? Kung isa-isahin mo pa, matagal siya. Kaya i-diretso mo na lang. So, pag diretso natin 3, if x is negative 2, negative 2 squared is 4. Plus 5 times as x approaches negative 2 is negative 2 minus the limit of 9 as x approaches negative 2 is the constant itself. So this is 12. This is negative 10. 12 minus 10 is 2 minus 9 is negative 7. So the answer is equal to negative 7. Okay? So ito siya. Substitute lang para mas mabilis. May tanong doon? Before I proceed to the next question or example?
Wala po.
Okay.
Wala po.
Evaluate the following limit. The limit, again, this is a rational function. Kaya kapag rational, may numerator and denominator. Ang una mong gagawin ay i-factor muna, then cancel out common factor. So find the limit of 6 minus 3z plus 10z squared all over negative 2z to the fourth plus 7z cubed plus 1. As z approaches 1. So, compute natin. Dito, ito, pag i-factor natin, may makakancel ba? Dahil wala din naman makakancel, okay, pwede na natin i-diretso siya. So, as z, if z is 1, palitan na natin. So, the limit of 6 minus 3z. So, si z palitan natin ng 1. So, kaya 3 times 1 plus 10 times 1 squared all over negative 2. Si z palitan ng 1 to the 4th plus 7. 1 cubed plus 1. Ibig sabihin, pag may nakita ka na kapag nag-evaluate ka, direct substitution ka, tapos may nakita kang undefined, ibig sabihin may problema. Baka may kailangan kang factor. So, therefore, nakuha natin yung limit niya is 13 over 6. Evaluate the following limit. The limit of the negative fifth root of x plus e raised to x over 1 plus ln of x plus sin x cosine x as x approaches 3. So in this case, this is the given. And then substitute lang natin. Negative 5, si x palitan natin ng 3 plus e raised to 3 over 1 plus ln of 3 plus sin x palitan ng 3 cosine 3. So if you're going to have your calculator, just plug in and then you have this computed value for the limits. Questions, example 7? Wala. Okay. So computing limits. So for example here, let's compute. Find the limit of x squared plus 1 as x approaches 3. So this is the sum of two functions, x squared and 1. So the limit of x squared as x approaches 3 plus hiniwalay lang natin, limit of 1 as x approaches 3. So as limit of x as x approaches 3, so sa x palitan natin ng 3 squared plus the limit of 1 as x approaches 3 is 1. Therefore 3 squared is 9 plus 1 is 10. Therefore the final answer is 10. Question? May tanong? Wala. Okay, next. Evaluate. The limit of x squared plus 4x minus 12 all over x squared minus 2x as x approaches 2. So, ang gagawin natin dyan, finactor muna natin yung numerator and denominator. And then, pag finactor natin, makakancel natin yung x minus 2 at saka x minus 2. Ang matitira na lang ay x plus 6 over x as x approaches 2. Kung kaya, direct substitution na natin, si x palitan natin ng 2. So, 2 plus 6 is 8 over 2 equals 4. So, ibig sabihin, kapag may numerator and denominator, ang gagawin mo muna ay i-factor, baka meron kang makakancel. Pag meron kang makakancel, i-simplify muna sa kahanapin yung limits. May tanong? Okay, next.
Sir,
Yes.
pa-explain po ulit, okay lang.
Okay lang.
Medyo nalito po ako. Salamat po, salamat.
Welcome. Okay, so ito yung ating given. Ito na yung given natin. Kapag i-direct natin substitution kasi yung 2, kung napapansin nyo, pag i-direct natin yan, 2 squared plus 4 times 2 minus 12. No? Over, pag i-direct natin 2, so 2 squared minus 2 times 2. Okay, ano napapansin natin? Ito ay 2 squared is 4 plus 8, 12. 12 minus 12, 0 ang numerator mo. And then, kung i-direct substitution mo to yung 2, 2 squared is 4, minus 4, 0 din. 0 over 0 is undefined or indeterminate. Kung kaya, hindi po pwedeng gawin yon na direct substitution. Kanina, okay lang ng direct substitution kasi may nakuha tayong limits, no? Dito, nakuha natin. Okay lang mag-direct substitution. Now, kapag nag-direct ka substitution at hindi naman undefined, okay lang yon. Pero dito, nagiging undefined kasi pag nag-direct substitution tayo. Kaya kung mag-undefined ka, kailangan i-factor mo muna ang numerator and denominator. So, ang factor ng x squared plus 4x minus 12, ano yun? Kung baga, parang 12, ginawa mo siyang 2 times 6, 4 times 3, no? 1 times 12. So, kunin din natin yung factor nito. Ano yung dalawang factor niya? Pag i-multiply natin, ito yung sagot. So, x times x. And then, sa 12, ang factor niya ay dahil positive siya, positive 6 minus 2. So, x times x is x squared. Positive 6 times negative 2 is negative 12, which is correct. This is positive 6x. This is negative 2x. So, 6x plus negative 2x is positive 4x. So, tama yung factor natin sa numerator. Ito yun. And then, sa denominator, ifa-factor natin using common monomial factor. Ang common factor nila ay x. So, matitira na lang sa loob ay x minus 2. Kaya ito na siya. Okay, next. So, ibig sabihin, yung ito, hindi pwede direct substitution kasi naging undefined, kaya kailangan mo siya factor. So, alam na natin ngayon na ito siya ay equal lang naman sila nito. Pareho lang sila nito. Ngayon, makakancel natin ito. Anong matitira? Ang matitira ay x plus 6 over x as x approaches 2. Pwede ka na ngayon dito may direct substitution. So, the limit of x plus 6 over x as x approaches 2, si x palitan mo ng 2. 2 plus 6 is 8 over 2 is 4. Na-gets na? Naintindihan na?
Opo, okay na po. Salamat po, salamat.
Next, here. Indeterminate forms occur when substitution in the limits results in 0 over 0. In such cases, either factor or rationalize the expression. So, ibig sabihin, kapag nangyari na mayroon kang indeterminate na sagot, ang dahilan dyan ay, ang gagamitin mo ay pwedeng i-factor mo muna o di kaya i-rationalize. So, kahit saan dyan, yan ay mga techniques to find the limits of a rational expression. It's either you need to factor the numerator and denominator and cancel out common factor and get the limits of the simplified form of a given rational expression. Or either you're going to rationalize the denominator because there are some cases that if you have to direct substitution, it may yield to a result that is indeterminate. No? Kapag ka-zero ang denominator, undefined po yon. So, hindi pa mo siya o di kaya i-rationalize. Katulad sa halimbawa natin dito, find the limit of x plus 5 all over x squared minus 25 as x approaches negative 5. So dito, kapag direct substitution natin, palitan to natin ng negative 5. Negative 5 plus 5, 0 siya. Negative 5 squared is 25 minus 25, 0 siya. So indeterminate yung nagiging sagot. Kung kaya't, kailangan baka pwede mong gamitan ng factoring. So pwede natin ma-factor yung x squared minus 25 sa x plus 5, x minus 5. So makakancel na natin ngayon, ito na lang matitira. Again, hindi nawawala yung notation ng limits hanggat hindi siya simplified form. So pwede natin palitan na ngayon si x ng negative 5. So negative 5 minus 5 is negative 10. So 1 over negative 10. Naintindihan? May tanong? Okay.
Wala po.
Okay, kung walang tanong, last example. Evaluate the limit of 2 times the square of the binomial negative 3 plus h minus 18 all over h as h approaches 0. So kung mag-direct substitution tayo dito, ang mangyayari, pag 0 na to, pag nag-direct tayo, undefined na yun. So hindi pwede na undefined yung ating sagot. Ano yun, sir? Pag i-factor ko, wala naman akong makakancel. Totoo, wala kang makakancel. Kaya ano ang posible mong gawin? Sa case na ito, kapag i-simplify muna natin yung equation. So i-simplify natin, ano ang nangyayari? Itong negative 3 plus h square natin, ito siya, no? Negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6 times h is negative 6h. And then h times h is h squared. So, ibig sabihin, yung ito ay ito na siya. Minus 18 all over h. Distribute natin yung 2 sa loob. So, 2 times 9, 18 minus 12h plus 2h squared minus 18 over h as h approaches 0. Ngayon, napapansin natin na makakancel natin dito yung 18 minus 18. Ang matitira na lang ay negative 12h saka 2h squared all over h. Ngayon, dahil ito na lang ang natira, no? Pwede pa nating ito ma-factor. So, ang factor na negative 12 plus 2h ay 2. Kaya nilabas natin yung 2. Anong matitira? Negative, ito. Pinactor lang natin siya. So, ano ba yung common factor? 2, di ba? Anong matitira? 2h ang common factor. Okay? So, pag i-factor natin yung 2h, ano bang matitira? 2h, di ba? Matitira sa loob ay negative 6, tama? Negative 6. Para pag i-multiply mo yan ay negative 12h plus h na lang. All over h na siya, no? Kaya makakancel mo to. Okay? Makakancel mo siya. Kung kaya, pwede ka na mag-cancel. Ang matitira sa'yo ay 2 times negative 6 plus h, di ba? Pwede ka na dito. No? So, kung si x mo ay approaches 0, so negative 6 plus 0 is negative 6 times 2 is negative 12. Kaya negative 12 ang sagot. Okay? Ito na.
Wala po.
Okay.
Sir, bakit po dun sa may example negative 3 nakalagay?
Okay. Sige. Alam natin na ito siya, pwede natin siya, kung napapansin mo, ang ginawa lang natin dito, ganito. Erase ako para, okay. So, alam natin na itong negative 3 plus h, pag kinancel natin yan, itong matitira, 2 lang nilabas natin dito, common factor lang natin yung 2. Ang matitira sa loob ay negative 6, negative 6h. Okay, negative 6h plus h squared. Okay. Ito siya, itong sa taas mo na para mag-gets mo. Rewriting lang yan, already tawag dyan. Okay. Ito siya nagiging ganito, no? Ganito itsura niya. Ang tanong niya ay bakit nagiging ganito siya. So, pwede yung approach ko kanina, gagawin mo, or ito siya kung saan mas maganda sa'yo. So itong negative 18, walang problema, ito na siya. Ang problema ng bata, sir, paano nagiging ganito yon? Okay. Alam natin na ang negative 3 plus h na naka-square ay katumbas yan ng negative 3 squared ay 9. Ito nga siya. 9. Diba 9? Ibig sabihin, anak, yung itong 9 minus 6h plus h squared, di ba nag-factor tayo ng 2, no? Ito siya, ay ito yon sa exponential form. Klaruhin ko ulit para mag-gets mo. Okay, ito yung given natin. Ang ginawa natin, in-expand natin ito. Ito siya. Okay, in-expand lang, tapos dinistribute. Ito na siya, tapos nagiging ganito na siya. Kung kaya, anak, ay yung ito, sabi mo 3, ito siya yung original given. Original given yun. Na kung saan, in-expand lang natin ito. So ngayon, ito siya, ibig sabihin, yung ito siya, ay equal na siya ngayon, ito, na kung saan ito yon sa taas. Equal na sila kasi nire-write lang natin. Nasundan mo? Nasundan? So ibig sabihin ganito. Di ba ito yung pinaka-given natin, ito yung pinaka-given. Ang nangyayari, yung ito, kapag nag-direct substitution tayo na h equals 0, nagsi-0 over 0 siya. So hindi natin din siya ma-factor. Walang factor na makikita, no? Hindi din natin ma-rationalize. Kaya ang gagawin natin, sinimplify natin to. Itong exponential form ay sinulat natin sa standard form. So ibig sabihin, yung negative 3 plus h na naka-square, ang ibig sabihin nun, di ba, negative 3 plus h times negative 3 plus h. Kaya pag minultiply natin yan, expand ito siya. Ngayon, dinistribute na natin yung 2 sa loob, kaya ito na siya. Simplify na natin yung 18, kaya ito na siya. Kung kaya, yung sa taas na ito, yung ito, nire-write lang dito sa baba. Na kung saan ito siya ay equal dito. Ito siya. Okay? So ito siya ay equal na dito. Nire-write lang natin. Okay? Nire-write lang natin. Ngayon, makakancel na natin. Pinactor natin yung h sa loob. H, no? Negative 12 plus 2h. Inancel natin yung h. Substitute na natin yung 0. Kaya negative 12. Nasundan? Nasundan? Okay. So hanggang dito lang tayo. We will continue next meeting. Ang ating klase ay hanggang next year pa naman. Okay? So that will be all for today. Have a nice day and God bless everyone. Thank you.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.